December in Steelers country. It's a big game with major playoff implications, and the fans and the visiting Broncos know it.
Hey, look around. That's all we got.
This is where the cream starts rising right here. It's got to start right here. We got to win big games on the road. This is our first chance. Broncos on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Three Rivers Stadium in Pittsburgh. The Denver Broncos 11-2. The Steelers 9-4. Broncos know they have to win on the road now or play on the road in the upcoming playoffs. Their lead against Kansas City shrinking, and Pittsburgh shares with Jacksonville at 9-4. The AFC Central laid in part of the pressure of this week, and the bigness of this game is the fact that the Steelers locked the gates on the press.
They did, and at the beginning of the week, they sent us their starting defensive lineup, and this is what it looked like when we got it at the beginning of the week. Now, they closed practice for really the main reason, keep Denver from not knowing what they were doing. And here's what happened. They put Chad Scott in the corner, Carnell Lake moves to another corner, and Myron Bell comes in. And the biggest thing about this is they want to get their four best defensive players on the field, primarily the two biggest corners.
Well, if they haven't guessed already, Phil, John Elway is going to look at that secondary, and what might he think?
He's going to be surprised because John Elway and the Denver Broncos believed they could take advantage of Chad Scott when he was in there on third downs. Now he's going to look out there and see that he's a starter. How will that change the Broncos' game plan? We'll have to wait and see. On the other side, the Pittsburgh Steelers, Cordell Stewart. Everybody's been complaining, getting off to those slow starts, not doing a good job in the first half, but been very good in the second half. The coaching staff says we'll try to change it today. Come out, throw the football. Him throwing it, running the football, that's the best game plan for the Steelers.
Well, you can see from the picture, no lack of confidence in the face of Cordell Stewart. The opening kickoff coming up.
Welcome back to Pittsburgh. I'm Jim Graham, now joined by Mike Shanahan. Mike, there's a playoff atmosphere. Would you agree that the playoffs actually begin for the Broncos today? Because anything that happens will impact the Broncos and the Super Bowl and the playoffs all the way throughout.
Jim, I agree. It's, home field advantage, possible, obviously the bye. A lot of implications right here. Same for Pittsburgh. Great atmosphere.
Go get your headsets on. Only difference is, Dick, the loser doesn't go home. Up to you.
That is the good news in this 60,000 sellout at Three Rivers. Have the terrible towels out as Jason Elam sends it toward Blackwell and Andre Coleman. It's Andre Coleman, the former Charger, at the 25 and down at the 28. And we should see some ferocious hitting through the course of this game. Cordell Stewart. His best play has been in the second half, as Phil Simms has noted, but responsible for 25 of the Steeler touchdowns, passing or rushing. His blockers, Jackson Wolford, the perennial Pro Bowler Dawson at center, Stye and Strelzik. In the backfield, Jerome Bettis, number 3 rusher in the league. Lester is his blocker. Thigpen and Johnson, the wideouts. Mark Bruner regarded as one of the better tight ends in the league. First play to the bus, Bettis, and he does not get back to the line of scrimmage as Neil Smith is there to lead the defensive charge for the Broncos. Steve Atwater as well. As we look at the Bronco defense, they align themselves 4-3. Smith, the former chief. Keith Traylor having a solid season. Trevor Price for the injured Maatanavasa and Alfred Williams. Mobley, Aldridge, Romanowski the backers, Crockett and Gordon at the corners, Atwater and Braxton the safeties.
Don't do that. Be nice.
On 2nd and 11, Stewart's first throw is juggled, incomplete. Johnson juggling as he headed to the sidelines and ruled out of bounds. Steve Atwater covering.
The one thing about the game plan for the Pittsburgh Steelers offensively, and you said at the beginning, Phil, it is so true, get Cordell Stewart in the game early. They tried it on the second play.
Well, they tried. The reason the Steelers want to come out and throw the ball, the Denver Broncos, Paul, they pressure the line of scrimmage more than any team on defense in the National Football League. They're going to make the Steelers win today by throwing the football, they hope.
3rd down and 11, and George Jones, the rookie from San Diego State, into the backfield. Stewart back into the shotgun on 3rd and 11. Throws to the sidelines and hit immediately as Courtney Hawkins. Short gain, but a flag goes down. It's either a punting situation for Pittsburgh, but if it's against Denver, and a holding penalty could give the Steelers a first down. Holding it is against Denver, and so that carries the automatic first down. So instead of stopping Pittsburgh on their first possession, Mike Shanahan
on the defense, number 39, 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Here's the bad news from Ray Crockett. Holding.
Well, that is bad news. The Denver Broncos, they do a good job. They pressure the quarterback. Ray Crockett, ball's in the air, still has his hands on the receiver. That's one of the reasons why it's a penalty.
You can get in front of a receiver, Dick, but you just can't grab onto him. And once you grab on it, right now they throw the flag.
Broncos are the most penalized team in the NFL this year, and take a big bite early. Well, there's full start on that snap.
Brandon Stye, number 68, the guard, gets out a little bit too early. He's the right guard.
Full start prior to the snap. Offense number 68, 5-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Our referee is Walt Coleman today.
There's Brandon Stye right here. He just gets up out of his stance. Actually, both guys got out. Strolzik himself. They get up together. Well, you see the guy next to you move, you're going.
Might as well.
First down and 15 at the 28. Johnson in motion. A fake to Bettis. Stewart on the roll, the throw to the sidelines, and well out of play as Charles Johnson covered by Crockett. Cordell Stewart, young man from Colorado, a winner everywhere he's played. 14 straight years the teams on which he's played from middle school through the NFL have been in the playoffs. 12.7 yards per completion, 17 touchdowns this year throwing, and 8 more rushing the football.
You know, Dick, Cordell Stewart, you said he's had success at every level. He comes to pro football, rookie year. He creates a new position that's never been in the National Football League. The slash, do a little bit of everything. Confident quarterback.
Now Bettis up the middle, trying the middle of that defense of the Broncos, and able to pick up just a couple to the 30-yard line. Will bring up third down and long. Keith Traylor and Trevor Price in on the tackle.
The Denver Broncos, we said earlier, their big job on defense, the running game. We all know about Pittsburgh's running game. They want Cordell Stewart to have to stand in the pocket, throw the ball down the field, and we'll give you a shot later. They are crowding 8 and 9 people up there every single play, trying to make the Steelers throw the football.
The Steelers here with 4 wide receivers. Stewart in the shotgun, no one with him. And on third down and 12, he goes long. Some contact, but no flag, as Darius Johnson was hawking Yancey Thigpen.
Well, I tell you, this was excellent coverage by Darius Johnson. He just stayed with Thigpen the entire way, and he had him man-to-man.
And the other thing, Paul, here's how they're going to try to take care of Cordell Stewart, the runner. You got 2 linebackers on the outside, 2 defensive linemen, and then you have what they call a spy. He's watching Cordell the whole time. If he runs, he's going to run with him.
Mobley and Glenn Cadrez, linebackers, will share that responsibility. Mike Shanahan told us Darian Gordon, best in the league. Punt returns, averaging over 14 yards a return, 3 touchdowns this year. Josh Miller, the left-footed kicker, spins one to the 27. Gordon 30 and to the 37-yard line. And we have our first timeout underway in Pittsburgh. No score. Pittsburgh, a city of bridges, over 700 here in this great football town. Gary Zimmerman, Diaz Infante, Neyland, Habib Jones, the offensive line. Broncos, Elway at quarterback. Davis leads the league in rushing. Griffith the blocker. Smith, Willie Green starts for Ed McCaffrey, and Shannon Sharp leads all NFL tight ends in catches. Terrell Davis on first down, and they got him for a loss at the 34 as Earl Holmes, the middle linebacker, in on the stop. Holmes, a second-year backer from Florida A&M, and here are the Steelers. 3-4 alignment. Harrison Steed, regarded as maybe the best nose tackle in the league, along with Henry on the front wall. Gilden, Kirkland, Holmes, Dante Jones for Greg Lloyd, who won't play. Staph infection in his foot. Scott, the rookie, at one corner. Carnell Lake moves from safety to corner with Perry and Bell at safety. Elway fighting the noise of the crowd. Second and long. Gives to Davis. Davis fights his way to the 39-yard line. And it'll be third down and 8.
Well, the one thing about the Broncos, we know they got the #1 rusher in football. They want to run the football. But the thing about John Elway, when you talk to him, Phil, he wants matchups, and I think he's got that today.
That's what Mike Shanahan is really good at, creating good matchups for his offense. The defense, the Steelers, the big thing they want to do, we know they want to stop the run, but don't let Shannon Sharp beat them in the passing game.
Janelle Wolford and Chris Oldham come in for the Steelers in the secondary. 6 defensive backs. Elway from the shotgun to the sideline. Incomplete. Broken up as Willie Green had his hands on it, and Chad Scott, the rookie from Maryland, able to reach in and bat it away.
I'll tell you, the matchup that Elway wanted is on Scott, and he goes right to him right away. There's one-on-one coverage on the outside, but that is outstanding coverage.
Chad Scott, the #1 pick of the Steelers, the 24th overall player selected in the opening round this year. Tom Ruin to punt, averaging 42.5. Will Blackwell at the other end for the Steelers on a booming spiral. Blackwell all the way to his 5. 10. Shreds away from a couple of tacklers and makes it to the 22-yard line. A 55-yard punt, 16 on the return.
Super Bowl. You're watching the NFL on NBC.
10:55 left in the opening quarter. Steelers have it at their 21-yard line. Stewart 0 for 3 off the start of the game, and that's been his pattern this year. First half, only 47% completions, 3 touchdowns, 10 intercepted. But look at the second half, 60%, 14 touchdowns, only 3 interceptions. Starts from the 21 with Charles Johnson in motion. And it's Bettis as he greeted quickly at the 20-yard line as John Mobley and Ray Crockett, the linebacker and cornerback, make the hit.
I'm going to tell you something. Ray Crockett, when he committed, he sees this thing. Mobley's going to make the play along with Crockett. 51 is Mobley, 39 is Crockett. Look to the right of the screen. The guy underneath is Crockett, the corner. Man, did he commit himself. He was gone.
A loss of a yard, and it's tough to get Bettis down behind the line of scrimmage. He's the #3 rusher in the league.
Well, it helps when you got about 2 extra people up there that the Steelers can't block. It makes it a lot easier to get the big man down.
Lester, the close friend of Bettis, lines up at fullback. He blocked for him with the Rams. Throw into the flat, incomplete, and Steve Atwater again playing in front of Yancey Thigpen, the intended target.
Dick, here's what happens. The Denver Broncos, they crowd the line of scrimmage. They dare you to throw it outside. Here's Steve Atwater, 8 in the box. Cordell looks at all this open spot. Watch him on the snap of the ball. Watch Steve Atwater. Runs. Gets out underneath the receiver. If it's a good throw, it's an interception.
Well, you saw Atwater smiling, Dick, as he was going back. He knew if that ball was on target, he had a touchdown.
He scored his first touchdown in 9 NFL years last week against San Diego, 22-yard score.
Not many safeties could be in there for the run and still be a factor in the passing game like he does.
3rd and 11, and it's a screen to George Jones, the rookie. And he's got some blockers. Cuts back inside, has a first down and more. All the way, fumbles the ball. Picked up by the Broncos. Tyrone Braxton, and Braxton all the way to the 35-yard line. They're going to mark it at the 37. John Jackson got him out of bounds. So a big play from the rookie Jones, only to be stripped of the ball.
Well, you got the defense. They're going after the quarterback, all that speed. Great call by the Pittsburgh Steelers. Jones, open field, cuts back, but good hustle by the defense. Steve Atwater staying after it, causes the fumble.
Big play by Atwater, who is renowned for just that quality in his 7 Pro Bowl years. Darian Gordon might have gotten a piece of it as well.
You're right. Darian Gordon got his hand as he was coming by and pulled it out.
First turnover goes to Denver. They start from the Steeler 38. Elway, play action. Goes long. Has a man. Incomplete, Willie Green. Chad Scott able to stay close enough to deny.
Phil, you know, we talked about it. John Elway told us yesterday he wants to pick on Chad Scott. No difference to the guy. Just going to pick on him. He's a rookie. And 2 plays, the last 2 plays, the one in the last series, the one in this series, right back to Chad Scott.
The one thing Jim Haslett, the defensive coordinator for the Steelers, told me, he says, this Chad Scott, he's given up some plays, but this guy really competes. He's tough, and he'll challenge these receivers today.
Howard Griffith in motion. Fake to Davis. Good protection. The throw underneath. Incomplete. Byron Bell denies Shannon Sharp, the tight end.
Boy, Myron Bell does an excellent job as a safety. What he is, he's back covering Shannon Sharp. Man for man, here comes Shannon Sharp. He waits, he sees Elway. He breaks on the ball as John Elway lets it go. Good position. Tough to make a catch in that play.
The only thing about it, look at Elway. Look at the time Elway has to throw the ball. Then the offensive line creates a lane for him to throw the ball. If you're going to give Elway that much time to throw, Phil, he's going to start hitting some of these balls.
3rd and 10. Shannon Sharp in the backfield with Elway. Then he goes into the pattern. Elway goes long again. And it's a touchdown to Rod Smith. Rod Smith, who's had a brilliant year out of Missouri Southern, and they beat Donnell Wolford. The salute that's become the trademark for the touchdown makers for the Denver Broncos. And this man, Rod Smith, you saw in the pregame show, he says, I work daily. I don't work by the week. I work daily. Every time I come into the Denver locker room, I go right to see if my uniform's still there. He was a free agent. He struggled to make it, grew up on the practice squad, and now, as Elway says, he's got a potential star written on his back.
And Donnell Wolford looked back at the quarterback. He looked at the quarterback and stopped.
Jason Elam adds the extra point. And on the fumble forced by Gordon, recovered by Braxton, Elway 37 yards on the touchdown to Rod Smith. And the Denver Broncos strike first in Pittsburgh with 9:38 remaining in the first quarter. Elway over the 3,000 mark. And welcome back to Three Rivers Stadium, where the Broncos take advantage of the first turnover, and John Elway over 3,000 yards passing for his 12th year in the NFL, over 48,000 in his career. He and Marino both 12 times they've been over 3,000 yards, and Will Blackwell has trouble finding the handle and is tackled at the 19-yard line on the kickoff. And let's go back on the touchdown.
Well, let's take a look at it. Just Donnell Wolford against Rod Smith up top. Donnell Wolford, double move, great position. Really what happens, Rod Smith just uses his speed and pulls away at the end.
The one thing about Donnell Wolford, though, you see it right at the end of that play, Phil, is when he decided to look back at the quarterback, that's when you lose speed. And it's a classic example of when you're running with a defensive back, you have to wait till the last second. When he reaches for the ball, then you reach for the ball.
That's a good point.
2 years, his first 2 seasons, 3 touchdowns, and now 9 for Rod Smith. You saw George Jones, the man who fumbled the ball, set up the touchdown for the Broncos. Jerome Bettis plowing forward to the 23-yard line, and Steve Atwater playing right up on the line of scrimmage to make the tackle.
Neil Smith, Band-Aids and all, and there's those. Here's Neil Smith. Look at this. Strolzek, that's a takedown. Now that
well, and Neil Smith was going to try to take a real sharp angle, so it looked a little worse.
It was worse.
But it was still a good takedown.
Pretty convincing, nevertheless.
I thought so.
2nd down and 6. The bus is on the roll. Out to the 44. Braxton and Atwater, the 2 safeties, finally get him down. 21 yards for Bettis.
Anytime a running back, even Jerome Bettis, as big as he is, watch Tim Lester, the lead blocker, comes through, gets John Mobley out of the way, creates the big hole. But if you're going to crowd the line of scrimmage like the Broncos do, you're going to give up some big runs like that one that time.
And the other thing about him, too, though, is when you watch him, when he gets to that hole, Dick, is that he squares his shoulders, and once he does that, it's tough bringing him down.
Well, and he's also looking at the man in front of him, Tim Lester, number 34, who has been his blocking back with the Cardinals, with the Rams rather, and then here in Pittsburgh. He gives him a lot of credit. Cordell Stewart on first down, loves to roll left and throw, gets away from Price and ducks out of bounds near the 49-yard line. Gain of 6. It'll be 2nd and 4. And there's Lester. All he has this year, 2 carries all year, 9 yards. They've given him 10 catches, but he reminds everyone when he was in college, he had, well, 1,600 more yards rushing and 10 more touchdowns than Bettis. And Bettis said, yeah, but you were playing Morehead State. I was playing Southern California. And this is the combination when Bettis in his rookie year, his very first touchdown behind Lester against the Steelers, at Anaheim Stadium when they were the Los Angeles Rams.
You know, I heard that dig about Moorhead State he was running against there. So it didn't step by me.
No, I think that's nice to get your alma mater in there. Yeah. It's nice that he would know that.
Boy, did you just see the quickness of Alfred Williams? Alfred Williams got through in the backfield for a loss.
Paul, that's a good point. The Broncos, it's about quickness and numbers. That's how they stop the running game. They get a lot of quick players, everybody, even their defensive linemen. No big guys, but a lot of fast guys, and the linebackers, and then the extra defensive back, Steve Atwater. That's how they stop the running game.
And number 43, George Jones, who fumbled on his last carry on the pass, is back into the game for Pittsburgh. 3rd down and 6. Jones in motion to the outside. Over the middle, complete. Courtney Hawkins, and Hawkins is to the 36-yard line. Tim McKyer, the veteran cornerback, made the tackle. 16 on the play.
It's an empty backfield, 5 wide receivers for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Look down here at the bottom of your screen. Here it is, but nobody underneath. 4 rushers are trying to keep Cordell Stewart in the pocket. This is, if you're the quarterback, it's just go back, pick out what you think your best matchup is, and throw it to that guy because it's single coverage all across the field.
And a 1st down, trailing 7-0. Steelers, their deepest penetration, and now to Bettis. Bettis to the 33, maybe the 32. John Mobley from Kutztown State, across the state of Pennsylvania, makes the tackle.
You know, we talked about this before, but you got the #1 rushing offense and the #1 and 2, and they're going into this game. They're only 1 yard apart, 2,063, 2,062. But when you look at Pittsburgh Steelers offensive linemen, when they put a hat on somebody, Phil, they don't let him go. They stay with him, and that's what creates the holes.
Yeah, you stick to him. Yeah, they stick to the defenders. That's why they have such a great running game.
2nd and 6, and Stewart's a throw. Complete. And Yancey Thigpen kicks free of the tackle, and Thigpen will score! So the Steelers answer the Broncos on an immediate drive with Stewart hitting Thigpen 33 yards. Thigpen broke the tackle of Darian Gordon. Veteran Norm Johnson looks for his 250th consecutive extra point. That's an NFL record. It's 7-all. You're watching the NFL on NBC, and Yancey Thigpen has the Steeler crowd on its feet. So the Denver Bronco defense stunned by the quickness of that touchdown drive. 81 yards in 7 plays, 33 yards. Cordell Stewart to Yancey Thigpen. His 5th touchdown catch to tie his career high, and Cordell, who started 0 for 4 in the game, was 3 for 3 on that drive and 74 yards. Johnson's end over end of Vaughn Hebron juggles, clutches, and finds a little hole across the 25 and skids out to the 29.
Well, it was good. I'm sorry, Dick. Good route running by Yancey Thigpen at the top. It's called a fade stop. Fake him deep, stop, and come back. The perfect throw. Darian Gordon can't adjust, misses a tackle, touchdown.
I'll tell you what will drive a defensive coach crazy is watch these missed tackles. One comes here, that's Gordon first. Now watch this move by Thigpen back inside, and then another missed tackle by Mobley, who has a clean shot at him, and Thigpen for the touchdown.
And Cordell Stewart, whose father Robert is here from New Orleans, gives him a little victory signal. Tied at 7, 5 minutes left in the first quarter, and Elway back to pass on 1st down. Scrambles, the man who has run more than any quarterback in the National Football League history is dragged down by Kevin Henry. That was the 736th time Elway has tucked it away and run with it.
Well, I think the Denver Broncos are saying they believe this Pittsburgh defense is pretty good against the run. Coming out, throwing the football a little bit. John Elway, when you pressure him, he still will step up looking to pass it first, but if he has to run, he will.
He hasn't gotten the productivity out of those rushes that Randall Cunningham has, but he is 4th all time, but he has rushed more than any quarterback. Second and short. Terrell Davis bulls his way to a first down just shy of the 40, and Earl Holmes there to make the tackle. And we invite you to follow the NFL online at msnbcsports.com. Go interactive and vote for the player you feel deserves comeback player of the year. It's all at msnbcsports.com. I would give a vote to Andre Rison.
Well, old man Moon ain't bad.
Yeah, but Andre Rison, he's been pretty special, I think, for the Kansas City Chiefs this year.
First down, Denver, tied at 7, late first quarter. Elway rears back and fires complete to Willie Green. And Green, who was picked up by the Broncos this year, the University of Mississippi, and of course has been with Carolina as an unrestricted free agent, has his first catch today. He's playing for Ed McCaffrey.
Well, this time they fake like they're going to stop and go deep, and then they fake again and come back. Good timing by John Elway. Excellent protection. The Steelers blitz, leaving Chad Scott one-on-one outside.
There's one other thing about this field, so you understand, even in the missed tackles before, the sidelines are very slippery because that's the part of the field that's not covered, Dick.
First down near the 30, and Davis on first down. A staggering run down to the 21-yard line, good for 9. As Terrell Davis leading the league coming in with 1,647 yards. Only Eric Dickerson over 2,100 yards and O.J. Simpson 2003 have broken that 2,000-yard mark. And Terrell Davis, if he can average 118 a game, will be the third man in history. Thus far, Davis a handful of yards up in the 20s. Davis again inside, and a flag goes down as Davis makes a yard. Holmes and LaVon Kirkland, the biggest linebacker, starting linebacker in the league, make the tackle.
Yeah, talking to Terrell Davis yesterday, and every time we do talk to him, it really is a joy. They got holding on the offensive line. It really is a joy because we asked him yesterday, don't give me the patent. We want to get to the Super Bowl, and I know all the wonderful things.
Use of the hands to the face on the offense, number 66. 10-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
But when you look at Terrell Davis and you ask him, say, okay, Terrell, what would you like? How about 2,000 yards? That'd be nice. How about leading the league in rushing? That would really be nice, too.
Yeah, but he said he got burned last year because everyone was congratulating him after his last game. He won the NFL rushing title. Then Barry Sanders had that huge game the next day. He said, I didn't like that.
But the difference is this year, they have to win all 3 of these games to keep what they want, the home field advantage.
Elway throws in the flat, almost intercepted. Looked like Carnell Lake very close to picking one off that could have sent him to the other end zone as Elway overshot Shannon Sharp.
What's amazing, the little things that affect plays and how they can turn the game just by the Jason Gilden jumping up, trying to knock the ball down, makes John Elway overthrow the receiver. Almost a big mistake.
Lake won't miss many of those. He has 3 interceptions this year. 13 in his career, 4-time Pro Bowler at safety, but a solid corner as he's proven once again. Third down and 12 for Elway. It's Davis, and Davis has a first down and bolts inside the 10 and out of bounds at the 7 over Chad Scott.
This is a called play. This is not a dump off. This play was called in the huddle because they're reading all these people to the outside. This was called the entire way, Phil.
Here's the person who's covering. LaVon Kirkland gets picked by his own man. Terrell Davis, great job. Acted like he was going to be back there to help John Elway. Slipped across the formation. LaVon Kirkland, look, he's got him. His own defensive lineman getting away. The offensive line knows the screen. They get down the field. Great call.
First and goal at the 8. Elway into the flat. And it's juggled by Griffith, and Griffith rarely gets a chance. He is the Tim Lester of the Denver Bronco backfield, has only 7 catches all year, and Jason Gilden gets him out of bounds at the 3.
I think we all agreed coming into the game day. We were sitting up here in the booth talking before the game. Yeah, it's a special game and all that, but we knew the X's and O's, the strategy involved, that it was going to be a lot of fun to do because both of these coaches are not afraid to try some different things every game.
Red zone defense, 5th best in the league are the Steelers. And timeout call by Elway. It's second and goal at the 3-yard line with 1:22 remaining in this opening quarter, tied at 7. Both teams showing some firepower. The Broncos touchdown set up on the forced fumble. NBC tonight, don't miss the network television premiere of the action blockbuster Terminal Velocity. It stars Charlie Sheen and Natasha Kinski. Right after bloopers and Dateline, Terminal Velocity at 9, 8 Central, NBC tonight.
Isn't that what we're seeing here? I mean, you know, a lot of great effects in this movie, and we're seeing it here. What you're seeing here, you're not going to see a whole lot of penalties, Phil. I don't think with these guys play tough, hard football. These are really two hard-nosed football teams, and they know the job in front of them. They both know that in order to win this game, the defense really is going to have to do it.
Well, yep, and they're going to have to make plays on the other side, too, but I don't think it's going to be a one-sided game, Paul. We've already seen that. The offenses, they know how to scheme, go against the special things defenses are doing against them, and take advantage of it.
2nd and goal at the 3, and Elway to Terrell Davis, and Davis dives into the end zone for the touchdown. Terrell Davis, his 14th rushing touchdown of the season. And suddenly, Three Rivers Stadium very silent.
It got quiet. Terrell Davis, I mean, when you look at the play, Terrell Davis, that just looked too easy. I mean, he knows how tough the defense is, but he almost walks in here.
You get such a variety of plays from the Denver Broncos, a screen, a pass, the run, and all of a sudden you slash off tackle. Sometimes you find those wide open holes.
Elam for the extra point. Ruined a hold, and it's 14-7 Denver as the Broncos see the Steelers score quickly and take the ball and drive it right back. 72 yards in 8 plays, and Terrell Davis, who loves to run tackle to tackle, smashes in from 3 yards out. Broncos lead at 14-7. The salute to Terrell Davis on his Denver record rushing touchdown. We go to New York.
All right, Dick, this will catch Denver fans' interest. At Kansas City, Donnell Bennett, 9-yard touchdown run, the toughest all day so far, right through the Raider defense with the extra point. The Chiefs with a 10-point lead on Oakland just starting the 2nd quarter, Dick.
I think that's what the fans were expecting to see. The Kansas City Chiefs winning this game.
You know, it is really interesting, the Kansas City Chiefs. You know, the thing about it is, you talk to other coaches about it, and everybody's congratulating Marty Schottenheimer and their team, but the one thing about it, they find a way to win. This game right now, this first quarter, is everything we thought it was going to be.
Well, I thought maybe the weather, the fact that they're well coached, the defenses, and I thought, well, I could see a low-scoring game.
Greg Coleman and Will Blackwell deep as Elam sends it high to Blackwell, the rookie from San Diego State from the 5. And he's brought down at the 24-yard line. Keith Burns, first man down, along with Darius Johnson. Last time the Steelers defense allowed a rushing touchdown at home prior to Davis to score. Week 2 last year, Vinny Testaverde, a 6-yard scramble. The last time a running back rushed for a touchdown here in Pittsburgh, it was Natron Means, 1995, 20 regular season home games ago that opposing running back had rushed for a touchdown here in Three Rivers until Davis's score. That's quite remarkable. 60 quarters. 1:07 left in this first quarter. 14-7 Denver. Stewart to throw on first down, in trouble, gets off the hit from Neil Smith, throws underneath, incomplete. Intended for Jerome Bettis, covered by John Mobley, and covering the rest of the action in New York, Greg Gumbel.
All right, Dick, at Jacksonville, the Jaguars have won 13 straight at home. The New England Patriots are unimpressed. Troy Brown on the receiving end of a Drew Bledsoe 9-yard touchdown pass. 13-0 Pats in the 2nd quarter, Dick.
There's a score that will please Steeler fans. And, of course, next week, Saturday, remember, fans, will be in New England as the Patriots host the Steelers. A Saturday special. 4 o'clock Eastern, 3:30 for NFL on NBC. Stewart on second down underneath to Charles Johnson, his teammate at the University of Colorado. It's short of a first down at the 32. Brings up 3rd down and 2. Mobley and Crockett in on the tackle.
Right now, this first quarter, Cordell Stewart, and you know, one of the things you said, he has to make good decisions, and he's making some very good decisions.
He's making good decisions. The Steelers are putting him in a lot of situations where he can succeed. That time, play action, nobody can get underneath the wide receiver. Big holes for him to throw the football into.
3rd and 2, and they bring in John Whitman as a blocker along with Mark Gruner. That's Whitman in motion. H-back, and Bettis hit in the backfield, and down he goes at the 28-yard line is Neil Smith, the veteran Pro Bowl star at Kansas City, the first 9 years of his career, and now a Denver Bronco makes the big play.
You said this many times about the Denver Broncos. Quickness off the line of scrimmage. Watch Neil Smith, how fast he's in the backfield. Bam, he's in the backfield. They don't block him. Down goes Bettis.
And that takes us to the end of the first quarter here at Three Rivers Stadium. Battle for first place and ahead to the playoffs. 14-7 Denver. It's worth repeating what Elway said in terms of the importance of this game is we've got to find out. We've got San Francisco next week. We've got to win on the road now, or in the playoffs we're going to be playing on the road.
They figure they like to win here now.
Well, they figure that Kansas City's going to win its last 3 games. They're going to have to win their last 3 to stay in front, or they'll have to go on the road in the playoffs in a wild card game to get to the Super Bowl.
Darian Gordon bobbles, picks it up, and is tackled immediately at the 39-yard line off Josh Miller's punt. And the Broncos on the opening play of the second quarter lead at 14-7, have the ball back, and the fans not happy with Miller's kick. And a reminder tonight on Dateline.
A Kentucky high school prayer circle is shattered by gunfire.
I told him to put down the gun, just, stop shooting people.
From the teen gunman to the hero who confronted him. How could this happen? Minute by minute, Dateline Sunday, 8/7 Central.
John Elway and the Broncos with the lead here in the second quarter, 14-7. First down at the 39. Play action to Davis, who picks up the blitzer. The throw incomplete, right through the hands of Rod Smith. Wide open, the ball was there. Smith knows he should have caught it. Chad Scott covering.
You know, one thing, you talk about Terrell Davis catching the ball. We talk about Terrell Davis running with the ball, but also Terrell Davis can block.
Does a good job of picking up the blitz, but this is one of those times, what do they call that when John Elway throws it and it kind of sticks to your chest and you get the indentation from the end of the ball? Well, Rod Smith got one on that time.
He tattoos the receiver. You better get your hands in front of your body. Second down, 10. Elway, fighting a cold, does not have a good voice. He may be having trouble being heard over the crowd, but no trouble in finding Patrick Jeffers, the second-year receiver from Virginia. Only his second career catch, none last year. And that's his second. The first was for 5 yards earlier this year.
Well, you know what, you talked about that, Dick. John Elway had a cold. His voice is a little strained. And what happens for a quarterback on the road, if you're in that situation, usually somewhere in the second quarter, second half, you lose your voice. So he has to be very careful.
Used speakers, loud noise at practice in Denver, and of course he's had to use that voice, and with a cold having problems. He said his children have been sick for a month, and he's just not been able to get rid of a lingering cold. It's third down and a long one, and Elway calls his second timeout. One remains for Denver.
Levon Kirkland, 99. Terrell Davis, 30. I went back to this 2 plays ago, and I said about his blocking. Watch him square up. Bam! He makes the hit right there. Look at the position he has. Terrific.
Giving away 70 pounds to Kirkland. Not many backs straighten up that guy.
Well, great balance, great hands. Comes in handy when you're a blocking back, too.
Great attitude.
Third down and 1. Davis eludes a tackle in the backfield and has the first down at the Steeler 49. Kirkland with the tackle.
These are the things we never talk enough about. The little thing right there. Terrell Davis, it's 3rd and 1. It's a big situation. And the tackle he breaks in the backfield. Dante Jones comes through, just runs right through the arm tackle. Those are big plays.
Yeah, it's just a 2-yard gain in the books when you read the summary of the game. 2 yards off tackle Davis, but it was much more than that.
It says, and it also says first down right after that.
That's right. Elway to Davis. Has a hole. And it's down to the 42-yard line. A gain of nearly 7 before Myron Bell, the safety, and Chad Scott, the corner, can make the stop.
You know, the one thing about him, Dick and Phil, when you look at him, there's nothing fancy about him. Watch this. One move, and you picked that out in the very first game. He's got one move, and then he comes up into the hole. Now he'll make a move in the secondary. Bell is there. But he makes that one move, and then off he goes.
Sanders, second to Davis, coming into this weekend's play. Bettis, the third leading rusher. There you see the top 7 in the league. Terrell Davis is also the leader in total yards. He entered the game with 1,900 plus, and he can't hang on. No, that's Griffith trying to twist to make the catch. Incomplete on second down. It'll be 3rd and 3 for Denver.
Well, Howard Griffith, he's a blocker. You know, he's kind of like Tim Lester. Every once in a while he gets to carry the ball, and then a couple times a year they ask him to catch it, and hey, kind of caught him by surprise.
Yeah, he looked out there. Whoa! What's this thing coming at me, man?
Yeah, it's coming fast again.
Speak to me, hands. Speak to me. 3rd and 3. Steeler 42. Here they come. And Elway fires complete to Smith. He hangs on to this one, and it's a first down at the Pittsburgh 30. 12 on the play.
Good job by John Elway, the Denver offense, being alert. Watch the blitz, the people coming. Elway knows he's in trouble. The defensive lineman drops back in coverage.
Mike Vrabel, the rookie from Ohio State.
He's got to learn to read the quarterback's eyes a little quicker, but no, it's a good job by him. But Elway and Rod Smith, seeing the blitz, knowing they got to get rid of the football quickly, doing a good job.
Leading 14-7, 12 minutes left in the half. Davis the handoff. And Terrell Davis wearing down perhaps the Steeler defense as he seemed to getting more and more on each carry. 7 yards on that one. He has 33 yards rushing in the half, 23 on 1 reception.
Look at the left of the screen. Watch 29 block. Bam! Right on the outside. And Terrell Davis just cuts it back up inside. Excellent blocking by the offensive line. But the fullback on both of these teams, they both can block.
Not asked to do much more. Tim Lester for the Steelers. Howard Griffith for Denver. They're there to block for their key runners. Davis upended by Earl Holmes, but he is close to a first down at the Pittsburgh 20.
Well, a lot of people haven't been able to run the ball against the Steelers defense, but the Broncos, they like their matchups today. One, their fullback, their offensive line's quick. It gets on blocks. Howard Griffith and the lineman, Jim Haslett, the defensive coordinator for the Steelers, said it best. This offensive line of the Broncos, what makes them so good is how quickly they can get to the blocks and stay with them.
Total yardage for 2,000, only 33 more for Terrell Davis as Elway has to throw this one away. Well covered, all of his receivers, all 4.
You know the thing about this offensive line, though, Phil, it is really good. Not only do they block very well, but they lose one of their best players, Schlereth. What happens? David Diaz-Infante comes in, and he does a great job. So they don't really lose anything.
It's a great story. Diaz-Infante from San Jose State, the oldest player ever to start in the NFL at age 32. He was a replacement player back in the strike year 87. Played in Frankfurt and Sacramento and Denver practice squad, and finally a starter. 2nd and 10 from inside the 20. And flags. Dante Jones and Diaz-Infante. Did he move first?
The only way it's against the defense is if they made contact.
False start prior to the snap. Offense number 63. 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
Didn't we just talk about him? There's the move. We just talked about David. Nice story. Just comes in, man, does a great job, and then goes offside.
It's a shame. The linemen, the game wasn't created to feature linemen. We only talk about them when they do something bad. John Elway, Terrell Davis with 36 yards, averaging 4 a carry. Elway with an incomplete intended for Patrick Jeffers. A little behind him, but he was open. Chris Oldham covering.
Well, the Steeler defense, if you can protect long enough, everybody says if you can protect long enough, there's big open holes on the inside. Elway does a good job of waiting for Jeffers to get inside, but he throws it behind the receiver. He knows he had a good chance to get the ball down inside the 10.
He also had one other guy open, Terrell Davis. He was coming down the middle, down the seam, and he was open.
Elway, who did not throw an interception the entire month of November, going to the end zone. Touchdown Smith. He's got his second touchdown. Wide open. Rod Smith, his 10th of the season.
I have to say, I don't think he was throwing it to Rod. I thought he was throwing it to Willie Green on the outside.
We both just looked at each other like,
yeah,
Willie Green's going to get this ball for a touchdown.
And Rod Smith just came out of nowhere to get the ball. But it's a great route. Watch Rod Smith on the inside. He's double covered. Does a move go on Darren Perry on the inside? Nobody's covering him deep.
And Willie Green really served as a shield all the way. No one could get through Willie Green as Elam tacks on the extra point, and the Denver Broncos, leading the league in points scored this year, have rolled up 21 here in the first half and a 14-point lead. An offensive-minded, risk-taking Mike Shanahan likes what he sees. Welcome back to Pittsburgh, where the Broncos have taken a 21-7 lead down to Will Blackwell on the kickoff. Blackwell's had trouble with his footing and goes down at the 18-yard line. Dedrick Dodge made the stop. That touchdown was significant both for the quarterback and for the receiver, but first the analysis.
Well designed. Here's Rod Smith against Carnell Lake. Darren Perry's going to come up and double him. One's on the outside, one's on the inside, but the problem always is who has him deep. It's created this big hole. Watch John Elway. Little pump fake. It freezes defense. It lets Rod Smith go right down the middle, and you can see the big hole for the touchdown. Nobody's actually covering him once he goes in the end zone.
Well, if he slips and falls, Green's going to get it.
You're exactly right. Willie Green saw it and was going to catch it if Rod Smith didn't.
Ron Bettis trying to get the Steelers back online. Alan Aldridge and Darian Gordon make the stop, and the catch by Smith, not only his 10th touchdown, but puts this young man, a free agent, over 1,000 yards receiving this year. And for the man who threw it, John Elway, moves him past Joe Montana all time in touchdown passes thrown, number 5 in NFL history. There's Elway now actually tied with Warren Moon, playing against Baltimore today. Moon is yet to throw a touchdown pass at 274. 2nd and 1, Pittsburgh. Hold again for Bettis. And a flag down as Bettis pushed out of bounds at the 48-yard line.
You're going to have holding. I think it's Charles Johnson, 81, on Steve Atwater, number 27, right in the hole.
That denies a 21-yard scamper by big Jerome Bettis.
Because Steve Atwater was in the hole to make the play.
Holding on the offense, number 65.
Yeah.
10-yard penalty. Repeat, second down.
Well, they got John Jackson, but I can tell you right now that was holding on Atwater right in the hole. Now here, take a look. Well, you'll see Atwater kind of disappear right in here, and he is held. There's where he's held. Steve Atwater, number 27. Watch this. Charles Johnson comes up and grabs him right here and holds him. Could have called either way.
It goes against Jackson. The tackle was on Harold Hasselbach. So instead of a gain near midfield, the Steelers look at 2nd and 11, just outside their 15, and Stewart drops back and throws down the middle, wide open but incomplete to Yancey Thigpen. Thigpen had moved 5 yards clear of the man defending Darian Gordon, but Stewart offline.
Well, it was an excellent job by Yancey Thigpen. He goes down. Watch how he goes. Deception, that's everything. Go down, outside, fake inside, and when he breaks out, look at that. Nobody around him. Good protection. Cordell Stewart trying to anticipate just a little too much on those type of routes. Wait till you see the guy come open and stick it to him.
3rd down. They're now saying 11 as George Jones, the rookie, comes into the backfield. Denver shows blitz and then they back off. Stewart with some time to the far sidelines. It is incomplete. Not pulled in by Charles Johnson along the sidelines, and the Steeler punting team comes on.
Well, the one thing we talked to Cordell Stewart about yesterday, Dick, is when he said in the first half of the game, I'm too pumped up. I'm trying to make some things happen. This ball does hit the ground with Charles Johnson. He doesn't get his hands underneath it. But he just says, I just try to make things happen too much.
Pittsburgh, one of the best in not doing what has just happened. 3 plays announced, 6th best in the league, but they're playing the team with the very best mark as the Denver Broncos are able to pick up first down.
Well, the Steelers,
drives.
I'm sorry, the Steelers don't have a lot of 3 and outs. The good running game, short yardage, 3rd down situations, and they're good at picking those up.
Big kick by Miller to Darian Gordon, and Gordon looking for a block, runs into a sea of black and gold and is tackled at the 36-yard line. 54 on the punt, 7 on the return. On the sidelines for Denver, a familiar face in Pittsburgh, Walter Andrew Brister III, Bubby, if you will. Bubby is, for the first time this year, Mike Shanahan has made him the 2nd quarterback and not Jeff Lewis. He said the experience now playing in Pittsburgh, pressure and the rest, if something should happen to Elway, he thinks Brister should be his man. Elway has directed 3 straight touchdown drives and bats down the deflection to make sure it's not picked off by Nolan Harrison.
Boy, was that a heads-up play by John Elway, the experienced quarterback. He's not going to catch the ball, but he knows that someone else has an opportunity. When he steps back to throw the ball is batted straight up in the air. Look at here, bang, and Harrison, number 74, is there. Elway can see him and just knocks the ball to the ground.
Bobby Brister said, "Oh my!"
You know, that would happen to me a couple times. I always caught it, because I wanted to get my pass completion percentage up. So
even though it was negative yardage.
Yeah, it didn't matter.
Flags fly as Terrell Davis slashes off tackle for a couple. Back to Bubby Brister. He was quoted this week out in Denver as saying, you know, one of the problems is it's really tough to play in Pittsburgh because of the cold wind off the lake here in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, you know the lake here, and how far the lake is from here. It's about 120 miles away, and I'm going to tell you something. There's the lake. That's also called a river. But the lake is Lake Erie, and that's 120 some miles. And I'm going to tell you something. That is a huge breeze.
You know, you're just getting way too technical.
Exactly.
Way too technical.
Fans in Pittsburgh understood what Bubby meant.
That's right.
Offside. Defense.
So 5 yards ticketed to the Steelers, and that gives Elway 2nd and 5 from the 41. Last 3 drives have ended in Bronco touchdowns. Elway throws back to the side to Howard Griffith, and he has the catch. Short yardage at the 43, a 3 yard shy of a first down.
Well, a lot of people want to know why John Elway for so long has been able to throw the football so hard and accurate. His feet, great position. Look how he keeps his shoulders to the sideline, gets his hips wide open. Now that it enables him to really turn. And the other thing, he leans his head to the left. Now he gets a little more leverage, and that lets him turn and throw the ball with the power and accuracy. The fact that he does that, has big hands, and has naturally a good throwing arm all heads.
Off for blitz, it's deflected incomplete as Kevin Henry fly swats it down. That's 2 in that series for Henry.
Boy, there's a situation. 3 plays, and they throw the ball all 3 times. Elway now, just Kevin Henry, just take a watch it. He's watching, he sees the ball, goes up in the air. That's great defensive line play.
Well, Bill Cowher said that Henry's been the unsung hero on that defense. He's played very well all season long. Will Blackwell stands at the Steeler 15, ruined a punt. Arrives
he hit this.
Headed for the end zone and skips on through. Pittsburgh at the 20-yard line. When we come back, 7:59 remains opening half. Welcome back to Pittsburgh. 2 John Elway touchdown passes and a 3-yard run by Terrell Davis, giving the Broncos a 21-7 lead. We're at the midpoint of the 2nd quarter. From the 20, Jerome Bettis out for 9 to the 29, and we go from Pittsburgh to New York in this update.
All right, Dick, the Broncos better keep on rolling to stay ahead of the Chiefs, because the Chiefs are on a roll against Oakland. Rich Gannon rolls out, keeps those 5 yards for the touchdown with the extra point. They have now opened up their lead over the Raiders to 20-0. Just over 2 minutes to play in the first half, Dick.
All right, Greg. Broncos leading by only a game over Kansas City, starting this play today with 2 to follow. 2nd and 2. Bettis hit hard, but the big man can fall forward for the first down. Keith Traylor unable to totally stop his progress. Cordell Stewart ducks his head in the huddle. You saw him earlier point to the crowd. His father is here from New Orleans, Robert Stewart Sr., and his older brother, Robert Stewart Jr., next to him on the left of Daddy. So there's my hero. He's watched me all the way from my middle school days, and from middle school, 6th grade on, Cordell Stewart's football teams have been in the playoffs every year. Through college, high school, and now the NFL. Stewart goes long to Thigpen. Thigpen with a catch, and Thigpen is going to go for the touchdown. A flag is down, but I believe it's against Denver.
I'll tell you what, on this play, Darian Gordon saw the flag and stopped.
Interference on the defense. Penalties decline. Touchdown.
Darian Gordon saw the flag being thrown and stopped.
Paul, exactly. I mean, he saw it, he stopped. And Yancey Thigpen, to his credit, keeps hustling, makes the catch.
Thigpen's 2nd touchdown today. 33 yards, and now 69 yards from Cordell Stewart. Johnson for the extra point. And the Steelers have struck quickly. It's 21-14.
But single coverage on the outside. Darian Gordon immediately puts his hand on him way past the 5-yard mark. And then for some reason just gives up on the play.
Well, he saw the flag, Phil, and then he just stops.
Great
Perfect pass.
Stewart.
Look at this. He stopped. He quit. He saw the flag coming by. He said, well, hey, got a flag against me. Might as well quit. That's incredible.
But besides, it was a perfect throw by Cordell Stewart. Leads the receiver out along the sideline. Hits Yancey Thigpen right in stride. And when you get a long touchdown as a quarterback, it's exciting.
And Papa Stewart watches Cordell throw his 2nd touchdown today. It's 21-14. Cordell's mother died of cancer when he was only 11, lost his sister to the same disease last year. Daddy raised the family. He's the man that put strength in the life of young Cordell, and the quarterback of the Steelers quick to give him credit as we talked with him yesterday. 21-14. The fans delighted with that touchdown play. Vaughn Hebron to the 28-yard line, and that's where Elway will start.
You know what I really liked yesterday when you were talking to Cordell Stewart? Because you asked me, said, Gordon, you had winning teams at Colorado. He said, yeah. What about high school? You ever have? No. What about grade school? No. How about Parkland? No. He's been on a championship.
When weren't you? He said, well, I've never played football where my team didn't make it to the championship.
That's incredible.
Well, I think that's one of the reasons why we talked about it earlier, that he's so comfortable in these situations. You know, he never gets intimidated by a big game, big moments. In fact, he enjoys them.
That's the longest touchdown pass of his career, pumping life into this crowd. Terrell Davis struggling to the 31. Nolan Harrison with a tackle along with Kevin Henry.
One of the things that happens in this stadium when this place erupts, it is very hard to hear anything. Now, we talked to John Elway yesterday, and he was losing his voice. I think Jim Gray covered that down there. He may not have a voice by the halftime.
What it does when a crowd gets in this situation, it does slow down an offense. It makes you be a little more conservative in your play calling because you want to somewhere stop the crowd and the momentum, so you go to your safe plays.
Play action to Davis. Elway, incomplete. A beautiful play by Myron Bell, diving in front of the intended receiver Shannon Sharp.
Well, Shannon Sharp, the Steelers were worried about him down the field and getting open. It is not happening today. Myron Bell, we've seen a couple times already. Hey, he's going for the interception that time, outrunning Shannon Sharp to the football.
You know what, Myron Bell, you know what made that thing work, Dick? He took the right angle to the ball. He did not go to the back of Shannon Sharp. He went right down the line of scrimmage to make the play.
Bell starting in Cornell Lake's spot as Lake moves out to the corner. Third and a long 8. Away down the sidelines for Smith. Incomplete. He juggled it against Donnell Wolford, unable to pull it in along the sidelines, but that nearly caught again for a big game.
Boy, good anticipation. It's another stop and go. Elway just lets it go, leads the receiver. It's right there in stride. Rod Smith just can't quite react to the football.
John saying, I can throw it, you got to catch it.
John was tasting it. Will Blackwell drifts back to return Tom Ruin's punt to the 25. Ruin skids this one to the left. And the wobbler goes out of bounds at midfield. A break for the Steelers. 19-yard punt.
This is just a shank. One of the things when you kick the ball, watch his eyes. Is he looking down at the ball or is he looking up? He's looking down at the ball, but his foot went right across the ball and he hooked it.
It's a hook, right? Not a shank. A shank goes right.
That's right. A shank goes right, a hook goes left. That's a hook.
And the Steelers take advantage. 50-yard line they start, trailing by 7. Boy, the folks here in Pittsburgh getting their money's worth in this one. Jerome Bettis rumbles for 7. Mike Lodish makes the tackle. The nickname the Bus, and it's become so popular here. Well, there is the Bus. Jerome, All-America Notre Dame, with his career best 1,460 yards, averaging 112 a game, 4.5 average. Take the Bus. He'll give you a ride. 2nd down and 3. Bettis, who nearly was a Washington Redskin, 51 yards in this first half, outgaining Terrell Davis. Stewart throws complete. Charles Johnson, 1st down at the Bronco 39, and the Broncos trying to rip the ball away as Romanowski and Mobley trying to hold him up and pull at the ball.
When your running game is going very well, you have an awful lot of confidence in your throwing game as a quarterback. Charles Johnson just slips back out to the outside. Look, it hooks up. Look at the pass. The pass is perfect. To the inside, no chance for Crockett to get it.
Yeah, but this Denver Bronco defense, they try to make plays. Ray Crockett, he's not just trying to stop the receiver. He's trying to get in there, knock the ball loose, try to get an interception.
1st down just inside the Bronco 39. 4 minutes left in the half. Stewart, Leo Smith, and John Mobley, Alfred Williams there to make the tackle. Short gain. Back to Bettis, and talking with him this week, he very nearly, the offer was so good from the Washington Redskins in the offseason, thought he was going to be playing in the nation's capital, and called Bill Cowher on his cellular phone in the car and says, Coach, this is the deal. This is too much and you're not close to this number. Cowher said, don't do a thing. And 24 hours later they worked out a deal. Bettis said, I didn't get what I wanted, but I wanted to stay in Pittsburgh. And fans are happy that's all we're doing. Wide open Johnson in front of Darian Gordon, and Gordon is having a very tough first half.
But what it is, it's good protection always starts the passing game. But it's anticipation by the receiver and the quarterback, Charles Johnson. As soon as he turns around, the ball's in the air, hits him right in the chest.
Charles Johnson, 2 years, along with Michael Westbrook, the receivers for Cordell Stewart at the University of Colorado. Grew up in San Bernardino, California, in the toughest of circumstances. Another 1st down for Pittsburgh with 2:40 left in the half. Bettis hit by Atwater at the line of scrimmage. Well, these are two teams, when you come to the stadium, you know you're going to see them run the football. 5 teams in the league run more than they pass, led by the Oilers. Steelers are second, 49ers, Tampa Bay, and Denver. All of them except for Tennessee with a winning record. Let's look at the play selection used today. 15 rushes, 14 passes for Pittsburgh.
Well, that kind of goes back. They wanted to get Cordell Stewart involved early. They did that. He's answered that call.
The roll to the left, and he tucks it away. Crockett makes the tackle at the 16-yard line, short of the first down.
You know, I'll tell you something about Cordell Stewart on this play here. When he runs this bootleg, Phil, I mean, he looks out there, there's nobody coming. Wow.
And that takes us to the 2-minute timeout. 21-14, Denver. And we welcome you back to Three Rivers Stadium. How about Cordell Stewart? Why do you think he starts so slowly this year?
Well, I'm blaming the coaches somewhat because the play calling, I think they've started too many games. Well, let's don't put Cordell in tough situations where he could lose the game for us, all those things. But you can see every time they've fallen behind this season where he gets in these passing situations, he's reacted very well to it. So sometimes by trying to protect players, coaches actually make it harder on them.
Big play for the Steelers at the Denver 17, 3rd down and 4. 1 minute 57 seconds left in the half, and Stewart back into the gun. And sends Jones in motion. Backfield is empty. No flag. The throw complete. Courtney Hawkins, and he has a first down at the 10-yard line.
Well, I'll tell you, this young man is coming of age in a hurry. He is just, everything he's throwing is right on target.
Paul, great job. Look at the blitz by the Broncos. The receiver sees it. He breaks it off. Cordell knows they can't pick it up. There's a free man coming. He stands right in the face of the blitzer, throws it outside for the completion.
Just inches away from 1st and goal, just outside the 10. 122. 120 left in this first half. Stewart dumps it off to Bettis. Only one white jersey there. Bettis for the touchdown, but a flag is down. And Keith Traylor says he was held.
Brandon Stye, number 68, is the guy that's walking. When you walk back with your head down, I think that's the guy you call it on.
And that is a 7-point penalty.
What a call. It was set up perfectly. As soon as he threw the ball, you knew it was going to be a touchdown.
It's almost like you don't even have to block for him. You get him out in space because he can make some things happen.
Illegal block in the back on the offense, number 68. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Boy, is there a tougher penalty than that? Instead of being 21 all, kicking the extra point, they're now first down and 20 from the 20.
And the bad thing is, he did it after Jerome Bettis was already past him going in for the touchdown.
Now here comes Jerome Bettis. Watch, no, he's
There's
right behind.
block.
Yeah, he's blocking him, but Bettis had already had that man beat.
He was already gone.
That was really incidental. It had nothing to do with the play. So Stewart drops back, throws for Thigpen. He's got the triple, a hat trick for Yancey Thigpen. Thigpen, the leading receiver for these Steelers on the season, started today with 62 catches, but only 4 touchdowns, has 3 touchdown receptions in the half. And now to tie the game, Norm Johnson. 21 all. Three Cordell to Yancey Thigpen touchdowns.
Well, the Denver Broncos, they said, we want to make Cordell Stewart beat us throwing the football. He's doing a pretty good job so far. Single coverage outside almost every single play. Darian Gordon cannot cover the big receiver. Basically a jump ball. Perfect throw by Cordell Stewart.
And I'll tell you, and again, this whole thing starts with, you look at the catch here by Yancey Thigpen, outstanding concentration, but it all starts back with the blocking. I mean, all day long, Cordell Stewart is getting nothing but time.
And Greg Robinson, he's putting his corners. He's challenging them to work. You got to cover the receivers, man for man, no help from anywhere. And right now, the Steeler receivers, especially Yancey Thigpen, is winning that battle.
3 touchdown catches for Thigpen in the opening half. And remember, as Denver takes this kickoff with 1:05 left in the half, that the Broncos have already burned 2 timeouts.
Yeah, but you also have a guy by the name of John Elway. You know, we always talk about the games that he wins in the fourth quarter. Well, I'll tell you, some of those games he does a pretty good job in the second quarter.
Vaughn Hebron at the 10, and Hebron cuts it up to about the 27-yard line, and Elway comes on the field with 58 seconds left in the half.
Just remember one other thing, though. When Denver's had the ball, and some of the throws that John Elway has made, Phil, he's had guys open. They've dropped the ball. So it isn't a case that these guys weren't open on the Denver side. Both pass defenses are getting beaten up pretty good.
A surprising offensive show in this first half at 3 touchdowns aside.
Well, when you think of games like this, when the tension is high, 2 good solid football teams, I just always expect it to be low scoring. You know, who gets the break wins the game. But today, both of these teams create their own scoring scenarios.
Terrell Davis on first down gets nearly 5 to the 30-yard line. Elway will hurry them up there, or will he?
Well, it's one of these, let's hurry up, but let's don't take any chances.
If we get one solid play, then we keep going. If we don't,
you start taking a chance once you get the clock on your side.
Blitz, and down goes Elway as Carnell Lake. Lake, who had 3 sacks against Arizona last week, comes firing through from the corner.
Well, this is why you be a little careful in your 2-minute offense at the end of the half, because you don't. Carnell Lake coming in on the blitz. Nobody sees him. John Elway sees him at the last second, or he would have been out of this game. Here he comes, untouched. But this is what you got to be careful about in these 2-minute situations. Now you're going to maybe give Pittsburgh a chance to get the ball back and score.
Well, Pittsburgh took a timeout. They have 3. They took 1 of them. And they want to add some more time back onto the clock. They went to 34 seconds.
Gives us a chance to remind you, coming up at halftime, we'll be sending you to our New York studios for the Domino's Pizza NFL on NBC halftime report. Greg Gumbel and company get you caught up on all the action from this 15th weekend of the NFL season. It's all coming up at halftime. This has been a highlight show this first half from Three Rivers.
Well, remember last week, the Pittsburgh Steelers, they had 10 sacks. And guess who had 3 of them? Carnell Lake. Yeah, he had 3 of them.
That's the first sack today. Lake, the All-Pro. Elway to Davis. Davis battles out to the 27-yard line, where Mike Vrabel makes the tackle, and the second timeout spent by the Steelers to stop the clock with 26 seconds. We can update Terrell Davis's rushing in this first half. 12 carries, 48 yards for Davis. So the Steelers, at the pro rating it, keeping him under the 100-yard mark. The Steelers tied with Jacksonville, and the Jaguars were losing at last report. 9-4 each in the Central. The Denver Broncos, whose only 2 losses have been by 3 points to Oakland and 2 points to Kansas City, but the Chiefs have played so well since October and are winning today. Should Denver lose and the Chiefs win, the Chiefs would be tied in the West, but have the advantage over the Broncos in the division.
And what that does, why it's so important, it makes Denver a wild card team. You don't get the week off, and if you win the wild card game, you're going to have to go on the road at least 2 times to get the Super Bowl.
Well, both teams playing to win their division. Tied at 21. 26 seconds. Here they come, and Rowan just did get that kick off. Blackwell, fair catch at the 30-yard line for Pittsburgh with 18 seconds. Randy Fuller, number 29, was in on the foot of Rowan.
The question is, when you're going to block a punt, you have to take a point 3 yards in front of the kicker. And if you get to that point, you see Fuller knows he's going to hit him, so he just pulls off. Now watch where he's going. He's too far wide to the outside. He can't get to the ball. He really wasn't that close.
Sure looked close at the moment, didn't it, at the moment of contact.
So with 18 seconds left, what will be the thinking of Bill Cowher?
Well, you know, you could take one shot and you still have a timeout, and they've had great pass protection. Why not? They're going 3 wide, one side and one to the other side.
Mike Shanahan puts 2 extra defensive backs in the game. They load up on Darian Gordon's side, and now Stewart throws the other way and has a man wide open. Guess who? Thigpen, first down at the 40-yard line of Denver. 11 seconds left in the half.
Well, if you're the Pittsburgh puts 3 receivers to one side, Yancey Thigpen to the top. Look at that move. Looks inside for about 15 yards, then breaks out, single coverage. Another good throw by Cordell Stewart.
Hasn't he thrown the ball well this first time? We haven't seen all the Steeler games. You can't imagine him having a much better game.
He's got to have over 200 yards, doesn't he?
Well, we were here against Jacksonville a few weeks ago, and he threw the ball just as well then as he has today in the first half.
Stewart with 227 yards in the half. 9, 8, 7 seconds. Throws underneath, complete. Heading for the sidelines. Jones stops the clock as he goes out of bounds at the 34. 3 seconds. So at the 34, that means Norm Johnson will have to kick from 51, 52 yards, and they're going to try it. Norm Johnson's longest this year is 52. And there isn't much of a win. The flags on top of the stadium are facing into the kick, but we understand it's swirling around, and on the floor of the Three Rivers, it's in favor of Johnson. And it will be 51 yards. And timeout called by the Broncos. And Bill Cowher, well, you might think of him as a defensive coach, and but he really is a risk taker. He loves gadget plays. He'll remember the onside kick in the Super Bowl. Not afraid in a situation like this to try something different.
Well, I mean, to win games, to really get to a high level in this league, think about the people that have won and have done well in the playoffs. The coaches are risk takers. You know, you got to keep putting your team. You got to trust them. Put them in situations where they can excel, and it doesn't backfire. The Steelers are a great example of that.
One of those things that we talk about so many times in a ball game is, guys, great players have to make great plays. Well, he gives them that opportunity to make a great play.
Mike Tomczak, the backup quarterback, is the holder. Johnson from 51 for the lead. It's long enough. It's good. No, it is not. Just missed. Just flirted with the yellow paint. In fact, one of the officials started to raise his arm. So Johnson flirts with the lead, but just misses wide.
Surprisingly, has a lot of leg strength. I didn't think he could get it there, Paul. Gets it there easily.
And just scrapes the outside of the upright. Oh, my. And that is the end of the first half. The Broncos and the Steelers tied at 21. And we'll be sending you to New York, our Domino's Pizza NFL on NBC halftime report, right after these messages from your local station.